Another nice year for the D-backs. 7-3. He'll be making his 22nd start.
Pops up the first one very high in the air, short left center. Alec Thomas is under.
Baseball fans, prepare yourselves. Tonight, we witnessed a roller coaster of a game that had everything: electrifying plays, dramatic swings, and a finish that left us all talking. You don't want to miss a single detail of this incredible matchup between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Philadelphia Phillies, especially if you love MLB highlights and intense baseball action. Let's dive into the full story right here on Baseball Extra. Welcome back to Baseball Extra, where we bring you the most compelling stories from America's favorite pastime. The Arizona Diamondbacks have been on an impressive run, showcasing some serious talent lately. They've clinched victory in 13 out of their last 20 games, a truly remarkable streak. In the entire National League, only one team has outshone them in that same period: the Philadelphia Phillies, who boast an even more stellar 15 wins and just 5 losses. This formidable Phillies squad is now in town for a highly anticipated 3-game weekend series, kicking off tonight. For the Diamondbacks, the mound belonged to the right-handed rising star, Ryan Nelson. What a season he's been having for the D-backs. His record coming into this game was an impressive 7 wins against only 3 losses, and this marked his 22nd start of the year. Nelson has consistently delivered for Arizona, proving himself to be a reliable arm in their rotation. From the very first pitch, Nelson looked locked in. He faced Kyle Schwarber, a slugger having an absolutely monstrous year with 53 home runs already under his belt. Nelson induced a high pop-up into short left center field. Alec Thomas, with his keen defensive instincts, tracked it down effortlessly, securing the first out of the inning. Next up was Bryce Harper, who rolled a ground ball cleanly to first base, where Tim was ready and waiting. And just like that, Ryan Nelson carved through the top of the Phillies' order with a textbook 1-2-3 start. It was exactly the kind of confident opening the Diamondbacks needed in this crucial series opener, setting a strong tone early on. Now, let's talk about the D-backs' defense, specifically their leadoff sensation, Geraldo Perdomo. He has been absolutely thriving in that leadoff spot, setting the table and igniting rallies with his consistent play. Across the diamond, for the Phillies, the starting pitcher was a familiar face to some Arizona fans: Taijuan Walker. Once a Diamondback himself, the 33-year-old right-hander is now in his 3rd season with the Phillies. He's recently rejoined the starting rotation after spending some time in the bullpen over the summer. Taijuan Walker has openly discussed his struggles in the first inning of his recent starts, noting he needs to find his rhythm earlier in games. He's been quoted saying, "I've got to be better in the first, figure out what's working," because once he settles in, he's typically very effective. But that initial frame has presented real challenges for him, and those first inning troubles for Walker quickly resurfaced. Leading off for the D-backs, Geraldo Perdomo, who has been an absolute force in that leadoff spot, lined a ball foul high into the air. Weston Wilson, calling for it on the infield, made the catch, but it was so high it flirted with the roof supports. A truly wild pop-up. Then came Kettle Mart batting second. As we always say here on Baseball Extra, a patient Kettle Mart is the most dangerous version. And tonight, he proved us right. Mart launched a majestic solo home run off to Walker in the first inning. This blast put Arizona on the board, making it 1-0. It was exactly the kind of early statement the Diamondbacks wanted to make, exposing Walker's early inning vulnerabilities. The momentum continued for the D-backs as Corbin Carroll stepped to the plate. He's been on the cusp of history, just one stolen base away from achieving the first ever 30-30 season in Diamondbacks history. And in this at-bat, he singled to center field, setting the stage for that potentially historic stolen base. Taijuan Walker, known for not holding runners particularly well, allowed Carroll to take a sizable lead. And then, he was off. Corbin Carroll stole second, though he had to hurdle the baseball on a throw that went wide. He ended up at third base after a heads-up play by Gabriel Moreno, who singled. This gave the D-backs 2 consecutive hits, putting runners on first and third with only 1 out and a run already home. The pressure was mounting on the Phillies. Next up was Blaze Alexander. He hit a ground ball, which led to a potential double play. But wait, the Diamondbacks immediately challenged the out call at first base. Everyone in the third base dugout, including the Baseball Extra crew watching closely, signaled safe simultaneously. The review showed that Blaze Alexander had hit the very front edge of first base with the toe of his left foot, getting to the bag incredibly quickly, a play that truly made all the difference. The call was overturned. Corbin Carroll scored from third, and Blaze Alexander was safe at first. Another run for Arizona, extending their lead. With Alexander now at first, the D-backs attempted another steal, But this time it didn't pan out. On a bang-bang play at second base, the Phillies catcher, JT Romuto, made an unbelievable catch and tag, retiring the side. It was a fantastic defensive effort that finally ended the Diamondbacks' rally. However, Arizona had already managed to put up another two-spot in the first inning against Taijuan Walker, marking a powerful start to the game. As we moved into the second inning, the Phillies were eager to respond. With one out, Brandon Marsh stepped up and hooked a base hit into right field, marking the first hit of the game for Philadelphia. This brought up Alec Bohm, who had just been activated off the injured list earlier in the day. A welcome return for the Phillies. Marsh, drawing a significant lead, took off for second again, and on a 3-2 count, Bohm rifled a ball into right center field. It was a clean base hit that sailed all the way to the wall. With Marsh on the move, he rounded third and scored easily without a throw. It was an RBI double for Alec Bohm. What a way to announce your return to the lineup. This was vintage Bohm, battling at the plate, putting the ball in play, and driving it to the right center gap, using the entire field. It was an excellent at-bat and a huge boost for the Phillies, cutting into the D-backs' lead. Later in the inning, with 2 outs and a runner at second, Weston Wilson came to the plate. He hit a ground ball that Perdomo smothered, making an incredible diving stop. From deep in the hole, he unleashed a long, powerful throw to first, getting Wilson out. Geraldo Perdomo, what a play. It doesn't get any better than that. This was the second time he had made such a highlight reel defensive play in this game alone. This guy is truly an all-star, showcasing his exceptional range and arm strength. The Phillies did manage to score 1 run, but Perdomo's heroics prevented further damage. Back to the top of the third, and guess who was leading off for Arizona? Geraldo Perdomo, once again, making an impact. He launched a fair ball down the line, taking the turn for second and sliding in safely with a double. What a special season it's been for Perdomo, a consistent spark plug for the D-backs. Then came Corbin Carroll, who had already singled and scored a run. He drew a walk, putting 2 D-backs on base. The difference here, however, compared to the Phillies' earlier rally, was that there was only 1 out, not 2, when Gabriel Moreno came to the plate. Moreno, who had a base hit in his first at-bat, hit a fly ball to right center field. Bader, with his signature crab walk, got behind it and made the catch. Perdomo tagged up and advanced to third, putting runners on the corners with 2 down. Blaze Alexander then hit a ground ball up the middle that Wilson gloved and threw to first, ending the inning. Carroll had successfully stolen the bag, but unfortunately, the D-backs stranded 2 runners. These missed opportunities can be critical in tight games. As we moved into the 5th inning, the score remained 2-1 in favor of the Diamondbacks, but that lead wouldn't last long. With 2 outs, Harrison Bader, who had doubled in his last at-bat, stepped up to the plate. He swung and drove it deep to left field. M.C. Carthy went back at the wall, and it was gone. A Harrison Bader home run to left field. His 17th of the season. Just like that, the game was tied at 2-2. It was starting to become the Harrison Bader show. He wasn't wasting any time, jumping on the first pitch for the second time in the game. This one was either a cutter or a slider, and he absolutely smoked it to left. He knew it was gone immediately. Later in the inning, Nelson issued his second walk, bringing Bryce Harper to the plate. Harper swung and drove it into right center field for a base hit. Schwarber rounded second and easily made it to third, while Harper made a big turn at first before holding there. Good idea. This put men on the corners with 2 outs, and once again, JT Romuto found himself in a high-pressure situation. He hit a ground ball up the middle. The D-backs charged and stepped on the bag for the force out on Harper, but the Phillies did get another run across to tie things up. The resilience of this Phillies lineup was evident as they continued to battle back. A new pitcher took the hill for the Phillies, Walker Buehler. He quickly got 2 outs, setting up a showdown with Kettle Mart, who had already delivered one of the Diamondbacks' big hits of the night. Mart hit a deep ball to center field. Bader went back, looking up. It was at the wall, just below the line. Mart had a double. This put him in scoring position, and with Corbin Carroll, who had singled and walked, scoring a run earlier, coming to the plate, the D-backs had a prime opportunity to reclaim the lead against the former Dodger, Walker Buehler. But Buehler bore down, getting Carroll to swing and miss on a high fastball, striking him out and ending the D-backs' threat. That strikeout also marked the end of the night for Ryan Nelson, as left-hander Jalen Beeks took over for Arizona. Beeks, who had been phenomenal this season, faced a challenging situation. Then, after facing only 3 hitters, the Diamondbacks made another pitching change. Right-hander Taylor Rashi In just his 7th major league appearance, a 29-year-old rookie took the mound. He faced Weston Wilson with Brandon Marsh at second base for the Phillies. Wilson ripped one through the left side for a base hit. Marsh rounded third and was waved home. The throw was cut off, and Weston Wilson delivered an RBI single, hammering one to left field. It was a 3-2 Phillies lead. This was a huge hit for Wilson, who had been hitting balls hard all night without luck. Finally getting his knock, he turned on it, stayed on top of the fastball, and smoked it into the 6th hole. Brandon Marsh had an excellent secondary lead and scored easily with his speed. With Alec Bohm now at first, Nick Castellanos stepped in. He had come off the bench earlier and been rung up on a controversial strike 3 call, but he was ready for redemption, and redemption he found. Castellanos swung on and hit a deep fly ball to left field. It was on its way. It was gone into the Diamondbacks bullpen. That was home run number 250 for Nick Castellanos, and at long last, he gave the Phillies a 5-2 lead. This was a monumental hit for Castellanos and the Phillies. He came off the bench, got himself a slider that was a bit flat from Woodford, and Nick just stayed right on it, one-handing it out of the ballpark. A huge swing that really broke the game open. As the game moved into the 8th inning, the D-backs were desperate to stage a comeback. Walker Buehler walked Moreno, bringing the tying run, Blaze Alexander, to the plate. Alexander took all the way, and then the bases were loaded. With 2 outs and 3 runners on, the D-backs brought in Jordan Lawler to pinch hit for Adrian Del Castillo. This was a massive spot for Tanner Banks, who has been one of the busiest relievers for the Phillies this year in inherited runner situations. Lawler hit a pop-up on the infield. It was playable, and the Phillies shortstop stopped behind the mound and made the catch. Tanner Banks put out the fire here in the 8th, straining the bases loaded and preserving the Phillies' lead. The Phillies continued to pour it on in the 9th. They intentionally walked Brandon Marsh to load the bases, bringing Alec Bohm to the plate once again. Bohm shot one up the middle, a base hit. Harper scored. JT Realmuto rounded third, and Alec Bohm delivered a 2-run single, opening up a commanding 7-2 lead for the Phillies. This gave Bohm a 3 RBI night in his return to the lineup. He's one of those guys who uses the middle of the field as well as anybody. He got beat on this pitch a little bit, but he fought through it and drove it into the outfield, picking up a couple more crucial RBIs. Then Castellanos stepped in again, ready to go. On the first pitch, he swung and lined one towards left center. Thomas played it on a bounce, and Marsh, coming around third, was waved home. There was no throw to the plate, and another run batted in for Nick Castellanos. The Phillies were now up 8-2 here in the 9th, and Castellanos had a remarkable 3 RBI game off the bench. A really good swing, staying right through it. Nice and smooth. Typical Castellanos when he's locked in, driving the baseball. Alec Thomas couldn't make the play, and Marsh picked up another run. Just like that, the D-backs were down to their final out. Jake M.C. Carthy stepped up and hit a line drive towards left center. Bader was back there to get it, putting it away for out number 3. The Phillies took game 1 of this 3-game set in Arizona, triumphing with an 8-2 victory. It was a night of big performances for Bader, Bohm, and Nick Castellanos, as the Phillies ran away with it late. This was a classic demonstration of MLB analysis and a thrilling baseball game recap. What an absolute battle. This game had everything you could ask for, from early scoring to dramatic comebacks and stellar defense. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into all the action. Don't forget to like this video if you love the breakdown, and subscribe to Baseball Extra for more in-depth baseball coverage, highlights, and analysis every single day. We'll see you next time on Baseball Extra.